Before we go weiter and we turn our attention to the Taruvis component of today's daf, there's a nifla de Gemara Mokim in the Chasam Sofer al Hashas, right here on this Gemara. The Chasam Sofer says, quote, V'shamati mimoiri hagoyin Haflaha zeichet tzadik levracha, b'simchas Purim. Said, I heard from my Rebbe the Haflaha, it was during a Purim Suda. He said, Had the pshita le Rab Zera. This the Rab Zera knew with a pashtus. The chiduda koidem lelibuna, umarvach ravach. Right, this whole thesis of Rab Zera. Libein sakim v'shacha b'shchitasik sheira, based on two chidushim, like we said. Number one, chiduda koidem lelibuna. Number two, you have to worry about the tzaddim because Beis Hashchita is mirvach ravach. Said the Haflaha during the Purim Suda. You know, Reb Zera knew this. Don't mean a parakam of the Megillah because the Gemara says in the first parakam of Masechtas Megillah Daf Zayin Amud Beis that Rabba and Reb Zera once profiting Sudas Purim together. And in the middle of the Suda come Rabba v'shachted Reb Zera. Rabba got up and he shechted Reb Zera. Ve'efshir said the Haflaha shachtoi b'sakin roiseach. Could be. Didn't know this for sure, that he shechted him with a sakin roiseach, shayamunach ala shulchan b'sudas Purim, that was on the table during Sudas Purim, v'yada Reb Zera, and Reb Zera chapped how exactly he was slaughtered, v'hirgish benafshe, he was margish it, and this is what the Haflaha said, and the Chasam Sofer, everybody laughed. It was during the Purim Suda, he says, Reb Zera became azab baki in shchita, ein chacham kibar anasoyin. He wasn't a shaykhid, he was a nishchat. And as a result, he knew exactly how this played out. He knew it was chidu the koidem lelibuna, and that the simanu were mirvach ravach. This is what I heard from the Rebbe, the Haflaha. This line is from the most epic lines in all of the Sfarim of the Chasam Sofer. He says, even though when the Haflaha said this, he was saying it to make gishmak. It was what we call Purim Torah. Abinirali, I believe, being that these words came out of the mouth of that holy person, it can't be that it's abigeret and that it's shtisim. It has to be that there's some emes to it. Because if my Rebbe the Haflaha said these words, even though he said it when he was a b'pchinas adelayada, and even though he said it l'chuk and he said it during a Simchas Purim, but if there was a mashahu of Yigiyah that my Rebbe exerted, it didn't go lyric. It couldn't have gone for ways. The reason this line is so epic, you see the chshivos that the Chasam Sofer had for his Rebbe the Haflaha, which he also had for his Rebbe, Reb Nosson Adler Kiyadua. But the bottom line is, said the Chasam Sofer, even though the Haflaha said this, Torah is Purim Torah, it's impossible, it's inevitable, there has to be some oimik over here. And Zok the Chasam Sofer, I'm going to tell you that I believe there is some oimik. After Rabbi shechted Reb Zera, so there was a big problem, right? We just lost Reb Zera. So the Gemara says they davened and Reb Zera was zeichet at Tchias HaMesim. Zok the Chasam Sofer, it's pasha to me. If there was a way for Reb Zera to have lived al pi derech hateva and not to have to come on to one of the Gimel Mafteches that alei nimsru b'yad shliach, not to have to come on to Tchias HaMesim, that would have been a much better option. But what are you supposed to do? Come Rabbi shachtel Reb Zera. And being that he shechted him, there was really no way out. But Zok the Chasam Sofer, it's not so pasha. So because there's a sugi in the very end of Masechtas Yevamis. This is Yevamis Taf Kuf Chaf. This is an old Aguna Sugyas that discusses what would be if an aid or two aidim would come and they would say that, we saw Ploini, we didn't see him dead, but we saw somebody take a knife and he literally whacked him. He was meguyad. He was literally bleeding out, and he had this severe wound. And it's a shayla, it's machlokes between a Mishnah and a Braisa whether or not me'idin ala meguyad or ein me'idin ala meguyad. The Gemara said, Rava said that the Braisa that says ein me'idin ala meguyad, that just because somebody's a meguyad doesn't necessarily mean that this person is going to die, it's possible for him to make it out alive, is really not at odds with the other chazal that says, the one that says a person could make it out when he's a megoyed, ein me'idin ala megoyed, it's talking about where he was shachut besakin milubenes, where the sakin was very hot. And the reason where the sakin is hot, it's different. It's because as the sakin goes, and as the sakin gets the person, it cauterizes the wound. And as a result, this person's able to make it out alive. So in the event that the person was meguyed through a regular sakin, okay, mi'iden ala meguyed. If, however, this person was killed besakin that was milubenes, it was white hot, in a situation like that, Ein me'idin al begoin. And there's no machlokes, Dr. Rava. The Gemara is making big machlokes, and Rava says no reason to make a machlokes. There's two different types of knives. There's a musig where somebody was slaughtered with a regular knife. In a situation like that, he has no way to make it out alive. If, however, it was a sakim melubedes, over there, divri akol, it's not going to be an issue. So the Chassam Sofer said, Reb Zera knew that he was killed by Rabbah. So Reb Zera knew he was killed by Rabbah. He didn't understand why the Eibush did not just make it that he should be able to live. Now you're going to tell me because the Eibush felt it was his time? It's not true. You see, it was like the Tchias HaMesim. He came back alive. And the Eibush is Memai Benes. If there would have been a way al Piderech HaTeva for him to live, he should have lived. Now, okay, how's he supposed to live B'derech HaTeva? He was just slaughtered. What do you mean? To the extent that the knife was resech, that was the Haflaha's hanacha. To the extent that the knife was resech, if it was a boiling knife, Rava said in Yevamos Taf Kufchav besakim melubedes devri akoil. Everybody holds the person can live. So as he was slaughtered, he should have been cauterized, and like this, he would have made it out alive, and there wouldn't have been a problem. So Reb Zera said, you know what pshat must be? It must be because if somebody shechts the simonim of a person, besakim and lubenes, there must be two things that happen. Number one, chiduda koidem lelibuna. So before any heat is able to even go onto the person, the spitz of the knife goes ahead and it severs the simonim. Aivo ikut stadim. What was the Gemara's teretz? No, beis hashchita mirvach ravach. The beis hashchita is mirvach ravach, and as a result, it's not going to be a problem. So the sakim and lubenes is never mashpia when you go ahead and do a shchita. I freak the Chassam Sofer the Gemara Yevamos Kufchav. Rava said mefurish besakim lubenes devri akol. The Gemara over there is talking about where the person didn't have a shchita. It wasn't shchita's beis simonim. It wasn't the kon and the veshet. It was some other aver. And by the other ivarim, in the words of the Chassam Sofer over there, the teva is you don't have this thing of mirvach ravach. Mirvach ravach is dafka by the kon and the veshet, and by the kon and the veshet is this chiddush of mirvach ravach. Now, how did Rabbi kill Reb Zera? Come Rabba, shachte the Reb Zera. See, when you're not learning chul and daf ches, shachte is just a synonym of how you kill somebody. But when you're learning shchul and daf ches, and when you're learning mesechta shchul, and you know that shchita has a meaning. And by the way, some Sefer doesn't quote this, but the Ramban that we mentioned, Ramban in Parashas Reis says the taich of shchita. It's the taich of shchita. In the taich, that's all shtait of shchita. It's shchita's beis simonim. So come Rabbi Shachtel Reb Zera had to be the kana and the veshet. If it was the kana and the veshet, must be the reason there was no derech hateva to go away for this to work out is because chiduda was kaidem lulibuna and beis hashchita mirvach ravach. Das hat the Haflaha made when he said Reb Zera knew it on his own. He knew it on his own. It was based on this. I just had one har. This is mamish a davar nifla adlam ha'oid. Again, it's a bakanta Chassam Sofer. The line in the Chassam Sofer is more bakanta than the shtickle Torah, because let's be honest, the shtickle Torah is a little harder. It's a little less shovel l'chol nefesh. But there's just one ha'ara I had. Again, you can't ask kashas on Purim Torah. But the only ha'ara is, it's Amar Reb Zera Amar Shmuel, right? I mean, it just jumps off the page. Reb Zera said it in the name of Shmuel. So it sounds like what Reb Zera is saying, he had been Messiah. And by the way, Reb Zera is a Talmud Muvik of Rav. He was Makabel Torah from Shmuel as well. But this even feels like one of the Gemaras where it's not even so much Shmuel the Meir Hayra, it's even more Shmuel the doctor. I mean, that's what it sounds like. We're dealing with the technicalities of the Kana and the Veshet, Beis HaShchita, Mirvach Ravach, again, in Meshivin. But the bottom line is, this is a nifladiga piece from the Chassam Sofer right here. Masechtas Chulon, Daf Ches Amar Aleph.